Hi.
Yeah, you're not gonna do the intro today.
I don't know.
I'm just sitting here being all patient, like, all right,
It honestly doesn't matter to me.
he's gonna start talking any moment now.
I'm I'm
No,
indifferent.
all right. Gosh, sometimes I feel like leaving all this stuff in just so people can just see like how.
We're very professional.
Yeah, that
We planned
just
this all out ahead of time meticulously. We're actually doing a script right now.
yeah, this is all planned. Or at least
Exactly.
that's what I'm sticking to. But this is Torin. This is Torin Talks and So Can Drew, and today we decided to get into Empire Strikes Back since Drew finally got around to watching it this decade.
Yeah, I watched it. I know we've kind of talked about it a little bit before, but I just kind of wanted to like address some of the stuff that I was able to appreciate now that I was older because I watched the absolute shit out of it. I was exposed to Star Wars from like the trilogy VHS cassette. You know, they all three of them came in that one thing. And before
Yeah.
the movie even started, it had like George Lucas just talk about a bunch of stuff, and then they'd start the movie. I don't know if any any of you people are old enough to remember that, but yeah.
I remember
Uh,
that.
yeah, because it was like the special edition ones, because that's when
Yeah.
he started adding shit to it and all that. It was really cool to be able to actually like appreciate everything
Hmm.
and to really just take it all in. It's so what the thing that was so much more obvious than any of the other movies. It is this is by far the most character driven movie, Star Wars movie
Absolutely.
ever. Because like the thing is, in between, like you have this scene where the Millennium Falcon is escaping in the asteroid field, and then after it leaves the worm, basically after that, I mean, I guess I could expand and say like when they hide behind the Star Destroyer, and go out with the trash. Between then and when Luke gets in that lightsaber fight with Darth Vader, there's not really a whole lot going on. And even then, there's kind of like long stretches between action of
Hmm.
stuff not going on. But it's still interesting, you know, it's still cool. You just really get to see the characters develop, and you actually give a shit about these characters.
That's what
You
I was
know,
gonna say.
like for example, I hate love stories in movies nowadays because they put it in because they feel like they have to put it in, and there's no chemistry behind them. But it makes sense why Han and Leia would like each other. You know, Leia's a princess, she's nobility, she's supposed to be prim and proper, but of course this guy like appeals to her because she kind of isn't that person, and you see that in A New Hope when she's over there like, all right, I'm free, time to shoot some motherfuckers,
Yeah.
get into the garbage chute, flyboy, you know.
Yeah.
Like she actually has that like rough personality to her where she wants to get stuff done, but she's not necessarily supposed to act like that, and it obviously makes sense why she would be into Han because that's the
Hmm.
side of her that she doesn't really get to flex as much. And it makes sense for Han to like her because, you know, he tries to be this like rough and tough, like, I'm a badass and nothing bothers me. But the dude has a big heart, you know?
Yeah.
He has a big heart and he doesn't want to admit it, but he does it. He'll do anything for his friends, you know? And it
Hmm.
just even that, like that love story, just from that one movie, I just could just now write a book about it. And in Attack of the Clones, it's like, why do Anakin and uh I'm blanking on her name right now. I
Padme.
know Padme. I can only remember Amidala, but yeah, why do they like each other? It's like, um they're both hot.
No, well,
You
see,
know?
the thing about it though is like I could see. I felt like they, with the time jump, they made assumptions, but then it's like they haven't even seen each other. So it's
Mhm.
just kind of like I could see if over that 10 years she had been getting into some adventures with them. Like if like say if Obi-Wan and them took her with them, and she was doing all these like badass adventures with them, kind of like in Clone Wars how they do her. Like she kind of goes on adventures with them,
Yeah.
and so you understand why the relationship happens because it's more complex. And I think that's the point that they had in Empire Strikes Back versus the prequels is because like Han and Leia, like that gap between New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, they were hanging out, they were doing stuff, they were, you know, working with each other. They were it the tension had time to build up. It wouldn't have made sense if they would have made them fall in love in the first movie because it's like I just met you, and when they first met each other, she was like, "Oh yeah, he's kind of douche," and he's like, "Yeah, I can't really stand this chick." But over time, the things that they hate about each other is like what appeals them to the
Yeah.
other person, like you were saying. I think that's where it suffered from just character development. Like, I get why
Yeah.
they would like each other because, he was infatuated with this girl ever since he was a kid. So that makes sense. But I guess the execution
Yeah.
and the
I just
development of that plot point is where it suffers. The plot also suffers. And I don't know if this is just because Empire was just so good that if you watch Empire and then you go to Return of the Jedi, it still doesn't.
yeah, they're very different movies.
It's like what? But if you go from New Hope to Empire, you're like super jazzed. Then it to me it takes a step down when it goes to Jedi, and I know that's like blasphemy, but I'm sorry about it. It's true.
No, I think so. I think Return of the Jedi is definitely the weakest of the 4, 5, and 6, the ones that aren't the
Oh, for
prequels.
sure.
I still think it's a good movie. Like, there's definitely some great parts in it.
I still love Return of the Jedi, but it definitely just coming off of Empire. It's not as well done as that movie.
And something
So
something that I thought was kind of interesting now looking back is like, wow, Luke is a fuck up in Empire. Like, literally everything, all
yeah,
of Yoda's tests, Luke just fails miserably at
yeah,
in
no,
every
because
way possible.
yeah, like Yoda's like, okay, dude, like yeah, don't go to Cloud City, it's a trap. And then he gets there and Leia's like, dude, don't rescue us, it's a trap. Like he just listens to nobody.
Yeah, yeah.
And then at the end, he just kind of like perplexed as to why everything just went up in smoke. It's like, dude, like Yoda said literally to Luke, "Hey, if you go there, you're gonna get beat. Don't do
Yeah.
it, dude." And then he just says, "Nah, I'm just not gonna listen to that advice."
And also, like, you still feel for him, because it's like,
Well,
uh,
yeah, because you want him to go in and save the
because you
day.
think if my friends were like that, you would feel fucking horrible, even if
Yeah,
you like single-handedly through your training just defeated the Empire, you'd still be like, I should have saved my friends. It's my
exactly.
fault.
Yeah,
So it's like it's so much more because the thing is like Luke is a little bit of a whitey twat in the movie, but he's so
he
much more
is.
relatable. He's so much more relatable than Anakin ever was in the movies.
In
Yeah,
Empire,
Anakin.
yes, but in A New Hope, he was to me
Oh, no, no,
just as
yeah,
annoying. He was
no, yeah.
just
I
as
just
annoying.
I just mean like exclusively in Empire.
Oh
He's
yes,
he's way more
yes. Oh
relatable
yeah,
than
yeah, yeah,
Anakin
yeah.
was in the
Oh,
prequels.
oh yeah.
Because
Like,
Anakin is sitting there like, I'm so fucking talented, and nobody appreciates how goddamn awesome I am. And it's like, you're just an asshole.
but
Well,
even,
Luke is,
but see, the thing about it is he didn't do it right because Han basically says the same thing all the time, but he actually backs it up, kind of. You know what
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean? So it's just like when I forgot who was he talking to. I think it was when they were in Cloud City, and he was like, "Hey, it's me," like
yeah, yeah,
and that's such a cocky thing to say, but it fit him because like, okay, yeah, all right, Han, like I guess it's different when the audience is buying what you're selling versus, but it was already established in the first movie that he was like a badass.
yeah,
So for him saying like, "Hey, I got this," in the second movie, you're kind of like, "All right, I believe Han."
yeah.
And the problem with Anakin is if they just would have made him just be super like, this is what I feel like if he would have been showing hints of like craziness in the first movie, that would have made him look more badass in the second
Oh,
movie.
yeah.
Like when he was a little kid, he should have just wrecked some people just cuz. Like just
I mean,
went straight up like what are those little kids like on those horror movies, like one of those kids, just like that chick from The Ring or
like
something.
or like Damien from The Omen.
Yeah, so he just was wrecking stuff like that dude. But they were doing it behind like the Jedi back, like just one little scene where
Yeah,
he did
yeah,
something, and then it'd be like, oh, like they should just had him kill Jar Jar
yeah.
in the first movie. Like that would have been, first of all, that would just been so fulfilling.
That
Secondly,
would have scarred so many kids, though.
they'll get over it. Maybe this is Game of Thrones influence. I don't know, but they should
Yeah,
just
I know. Jesus Christ. And then Anakin should fuck his mom, and then
no.
they should have a kid, and then the kid should kill him.
Well, that's kind of almost what happened. But anyway, something evil, something where it was totally like indicative that this little kid is gonna turn to the dark side or something, because he was
um,
just happy go lucky, and then all of a sudden he's bipolar or something. I don't get it.
I was still able to relate to young Anakin in Phantom Menace more than I was in Attack of the Clones, because I kind of get it, because the kid is like, well, this sucks. I'm a slave. I can't
Yeah,
really fulfill my potential. And when people actually, he goes to the Jedi temple, they're all like, yeah, he's strong with the Force, but fuck him.
yeah.
He's young. He's young.
But that's
He's
what I'm
he
saying.
has fear, and it's like, you took him away from his mom. Yeah,
Yes,
he's gonna
that's
be
what I
scared.
mean. He should have had a little bite back. Like he didn't have any
Yeah.
bite back to me. So then when they tried to make him be all ferocious later on, it's like this kid really. So I think just like you were saying, like the characterization of Empire versus to me almost all the other movies is just a bar above.
The problem with that though, of like him retaliating at such a young age, is I feel like, and I kind of agree with that decision, is like the decision of the way he was portrayed as a good innocent kid, is because that's kind of trying to build off of Return of the Jedi, of why he made the decision to kill the Emperor when he was Darth Vader, is because it's trying to say he has good in him. It's just been covered up. So I feel
Yeah,
like making him do bad things when he's a kid is kind of detracting from the overall message that Anakin's always had good within him. It's just been for the wrong reasons. He ended up
yeah.
twisting his reasoning to do bad things, but he is actually good at his core.
I didn't. Everyone kept saying he was good, but I didn't really get any evidence. In the first movie, they had evidence that he was good because he was very selfless.
Yeah,
Like he met the people and he's like, "Hey, come to my house. Like,
yeah,
let me help you out." In that instance, but in the second movie, everything he did was for him.
yeah, yeah,
Like
absolutely.
there was no indication of him thinking about anybody else besides himself, because even when it came down to Obi-Wan, he was like, yeah, well, fuck him. Like
Yeah,
Padme was the one like, no, I'm going to go help Obi-Wan. If you want to guard me, then you're just going to have to come with me. But
yeah,
he was already just being like, chunking the deuces at Obi-Wan. It's like, wow, dude.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
Padme hasn't been traveling around with this dude for the last decade, and she's like, "Oh my god, I gotta help Obi-Wan."
yeah, yeah.
So that's I mean, I still I don't hate the prequel. So I mean, this probably sounds like I do, but I don't. I do
Yeah,
like the prequels. But definitely that if we're just talking about comparison characterization,
yeah,
like
yeah,
yeah, it's just no comparison.
yeah,
Even in the villains, you see more characterization because Darth Vader basically just owns
yeah,
every scene he's in. Like he's killing people left and right,
yeah.
and
Just raw intimidation that just kind of
yeah,
oozes off him. Um, and I think that's also kind of what makes Attack of the Clones weak at times too, is like Count Dooku isn't necessarily as threatening. I mean,
menacing.
I think he's still a cool character. It'd be impossible not to like him with Christopher Lee
Yeah,
playing
that's
him.
true.
If it wasn't Christopher Lee, it probably would have been a way shittier character.
Yeah,
Let's be honest.
but I what I think they could have did is they could have made basically General Grievous be the dragon to Christopher Lee's boss. You know how you have the boss and then you have like the dragon you have to fight at the end. Like
Yeah,
they could have made him be the more subtle character like he was, kept his characterization, and then they should
yeah,
have just made General Grievous like beast, because he's all talking about like he killed all these Jedi's and got their lightsabers. Like they should have showed him like wrecking some Jedi
yeah. Well, you saw
hardcore.
the Cartoon Network
Well, yeah.
Clone Wars series, right? That
Yeah.
shit was badass. Oh
Yeah,
my
see,
God.
that's what I mean. I guess they just didn't
It's
have time to develop
Yeah, it's all
it.
on YouTube. Like, if anybody wants to watch
Yeah.
those, I highly recommend it. And I'm not talking about the animated
Movie.
like CGI ones. I'm talking about the cartoon ones made by the guy who did Samurai Jack and the Powerpuff Girls, Gendy Tartakovsky. Those are pretty amazing. But what's also kind of funny to like looking at Empire and seeing all the movies is during Luke's training, it's like minor things where it's like, damn, like the Force, like what the Force can do was raised so high in the prequels that Luke just looks like a wuss. He's over there like, I can't pick up this X-wing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you should see what happens to motherfuckers in the
Yeah.
prequels.
Well,
I
I
mean,
I
they
like
wreck shit.
I know I like that though. Well,
Oh yeah, that is cool.
because it's kind of like he's rediscovering this lost art
Yeah,
sort
yeah.
of
No,
deal.
yeah.
So I do like that, and that's a lot of. It's funny because a lot of the people's complaints about the prequels is actually their strength, in my perspective. Like a
Yeah.
lot of people claim that it looks like too CGI, too like shiny
Hmm.
and new, but I feel like that totally fits with like what happened. Like the Empire just shut down everything, so there wouldn't the technology or any of that stuff really haven't advanced. If
Yeah.
anything, it regressed.
Yeah.
So and it fits too with the whole kind of like used universe look of the original movies. So it's like if you don't use something for 20 years, it's gonna look all rusty and busted and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So I think that was actually a good thing that they made everything all shiny and chrome.
Yeah, my teacher said it really well when he was talking about he kind of watched Star Wars and kind of talked about the actual like symbolism in it and I mean like,
I
the
know what you mean.
first movie,
Mm-hmm.
The New Hope. And I think he was really right when he was talking about like that the Death Star kind of everything is so like white and
Yeah,
plain in the Empire because it kind of represents this lifelessness, this
yeah.
kind of like obey, go in line,
Mm-hmm.
this kind of order. While you see in the prequels, there's this just bustling with life, all these colors and flashes.
Exactly.
So that definitely kind of makes sense where it's like the Empire kind of killed a lot of
Yeah.
happiness and all that stuff. So where it kind of does make sense. Return of the Jedi would have been way better if they kept Kirshner on.
Yeah, I
If
agree.
I'm saying his name right.
Yeah. There's
Director.
there's a also a kind of symbolism with like the colors that they chose the heroes to wear and
Oh
things
yeah,
like that.
absolutely.
So because I know I forgot if I was reading or listening to it, but they were saying like Luke and Leia wear a lot of white because they're like good and
Yeah,
innocent and things like that, and the Empire is very dark and black. But the
yeah,
stormtroopers wear black or wear white over black because they're
yeah.
really evil, but they have the facade of like being there for help, which I thought was interesting. I was like, that's pretty cool. In Empire, that was the strength I think out of all the Star Wars movies. If you have a good villain, then you're gonna to me that makes your villain makes or breaks your movie.
Yeah.
Because if the villain is not interesting, then it kind of sucks all of the intensity out of it and makes you kind of like, all right, well, why are they doing this if this guy's not even all that bad? And I feel like in the second one, they didn't even try to make Darth Vader empathetic at all. Like he was just wrecking people,
Yeah.
like didn't care.
Well,
Like there was no. He just was actually being the bad guy.
there was one part though that kind of made him more redeemable. I like it about this is that you have to kind of it's after you see the movie where you kind of realize like when he was fighting Luke that he
Hmm.
was actually being merciful, that he
Oh
could
yeah, he
have
could have killed him.
because I mean
That's of course.
when he's talking to the Emperor too, she's kind of like trying to be subtly like, he could join us or
Yeah,
something. Maybe join us. I'm not saying like
yeah,
it's I don't really care. It's just maybe he'd help. Like you can kind of tell once you see it again and you know that the secret. You kind of like, oh, you know what? Vader is being really subtle, where he does like realize, whoa, my son is alive. I kind of want to be a part of that now,
yeah.
in his own fucked up way.
Hmm. I agree with that. That's definitely something you notice in the movie. The reason why I like Empire is my favorite movie probably ever,
Yeah,
and the reason why I like it is because I feel like it's the most realistic in a way
yeah,
because most especially like when I was a kid in movies and things like that, it was always, the good people always won, the bad people always lost, and that was just the order of things.
Yeah.
And this was a movie where the good guys really didn't win. Like, Luke gets his
Yeah.
hand chopped off, Han's frozen in carbonite. They don't really know what they're gonna do next. He hasn't even finished his training.
Yeah.
They have all these problems, and then they still have to worry about the Empire out there trying to get them.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't really have a downer ending. It's not like Ex Machina where that ending just bummed me out. Like, that ending bummed me out so bad. Like, I had to go watch a Disney movie because I was just that bummed. I was
You're
just
talking
like,
about the one where the
oh.
guy's trying to discover artificial intelligence and that
Yeah, and then
robot. Yeah, yeah.
the robot just leaves him in there to starve to death. I was like, whoa, brutal.
Yep. Yep.
So,
Spoiler alert.
oh, sorry about it,
If you
but
guys have not seen that movie, sorry. I
yeah.
wouldn't say that doesn't completely give it all away, but yeah.
Well,
Spoiler alert.
yeah, basically don't trust AI. But I could have told him that.
Yeah.
Even though I knew that was going to happen, I still felt bad for him when it happened.
Yeah.
So, I knew that was going to happen because I'm like, dude, you can't trust no robot. Like, every movie ever, the AI always turns. Every
Yeah.
movie ever.
That's very true.
So it's just
Uh,
like, I've seen way too many movies where if they came out with artificial intelligence tomorrow, I'd be getting as far away from that robot as possible. Like, nope. Because they're going to turn on you and kill you.
the only movie I can think of that doesn't really have that is I'm trying to remember what it's called. You remember the kid uh oh gosh, I'm having is his name Haley Joel Osment?
Osment,
That's the kid that was in The
Sixth
Sixth
Sense,
Sense, right? Yeah, didn't wasn't he in that movie where he played a artificial intelligence kid?
AI, yeah,
Yeah, and
Steven
that
Spielberg
yeah, that's
movie.
I'm an idiot. I forgot what the name of the movie was when you said it like a billion times just now. Yeah. From what I remember, it's been forever since I've seen that movie. He was good in that as AI, but other than that, yeah, I agree. I don't really think there's anything else.
Yeah, no, usually the AI always turns on the people. Matrix, like, every time there's AI involved, like, somebody ends up dead. Anyway, back to my point is that it was the first time where, like I said, everybody was in this kind of state of disarray and they didn't really know what their next move was going to be and they kind of had to figure it out and really didn't have any help or really didn't have each other either because they're all fragmented. So that was interesting to see them come back, in Return of the Jedi. But definitely was kind of like, oh wow, like I wonder what's gonna happen to them. Like it made you care, like you were saying, like you cared about what happened to Han and Leia, and that it's like, oh no, like they love each other, but he's getting frozen in carbonite.
Yeah, yeah. It's like
It,
once they finally kind of like are okay with this and like, all right, we both
yeah,
finally admit it that we like each other and we want to
mm-hmm.
explore this. It's when they kind of get ripped apart.
Yeah, but even like 3PO, who usually like annoys the F out of me, when he gets blasted in Empire, I was like, oh, like no, like oh my gosh, like it was still a bummer.
I think
So
3PO is definitely the funniest that he is in this movie.
in Empire,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So I actually like that. Where like the whole time he's just on Chewie's back. He's like what got me the part that got me the most is when they're gonna freeze hot in carbonite, and it's super serious, and the scene is just dark, and
yeah.
it's just really like everything about that scene is serious, super serious tone, and then you just have 3PO, Chewbacca, turn around, I can't see. It's just completely cut the tension with that. And I was like, I like that. That was funny.
They just kind of like stepped their game up to new levels with that movie. You see more of the world, like they world build a lot in that movie.
Oh yeah.
So I do like that. That's always good to me to see because like you get to see all these other people. Because in Cloud City, I think that's the first time you actually see somewhere besides like Tatooine where people are kind of
Okay.
functioning under the Empire. You get to see kind of what life is like. And well, on Cloud City, they were pretty good. It
Yeah.
seemed well till Darth Vader got
Yeah.
there. And start changing plans
I
on
think that's another
Lando.
point is like I think probably who's not like a bad guy, the most like dislikable character there is Lando because
Hmm.
of his betrayal, but at the same time you still get it, like you still like
Yeah.
I completely understand why he did that. It was still shitty, but it makes sense. And the fact that he tried to redeem himself and make the try to catch up with Fett before he went off with Han and actually made it to where
Yeah.
Leia could escape. It's kind of like even the person that like you're kind of supposed to not like, you still like in this movie. Like
Yeah.
you're just it's hard to hate any of the characters in this movie. They're
Yeah.
just all so likable and
But
so
that's what I
developed
mean.
at the end.
Even when they're on Hoth and the Empire finds out where they are, and all the stormtroopers just start raiding their base, and then like
Yeah.
that shot where like Darth Vader comes in with the stormtroopers. That's like my favorite.
Yeah.
That's like my favorite thing. And they're the bad guys, and I'm like, yeah, get them, go in there and get them. You know, like it's weird because in that movie, really don't know who to root for because I'm rooting for everybody. So it's
Yeah.
like I want Darth Vader to succeed, but then I want them to succeed. So it doesn't really work.
Yeah.
It doesn't really work out because it's just like so. I think the ending was kind of the best way because I know I'm gonna say everybody kind of got a little bit of what they wanted, but not really because Darth Vader just got what he. Well, no, because he wanted Luke and he didn't get Luke. So,
Yeah.
but he did get Han. So I guess it was a 50-50 split. So
Yeah.
I just hope that I don't know, I just feel like somebody should just take that and study it and be like, this is how you make a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
Just make this and interchange scenarios and people. Like,
Yeah. Well, that's why I kind of have hopes for the new movie is because I think J.J. Abrams gets it.
well,
Um,
yeah, he's a super fan though, so
yeah. Well, I've kind of seen both of those movies from him, like Star Trek movies, but kind of an action thriller movie.
hmm
I mean, you know what I mean, not thriller in the traditional sense, but like
yeah, or it's not
suspenseful.
suspense. Yeah.
Yeah, and Super 8 was very much more like it had action in it, but it was very much more character driven.
What
And
movie?
Super 8. Have
Oh,
you heard
okay.
of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And those two movies that he made, I think it shows he has the ability to make both a character-driven movie and action movie. So hopefully he combines them
Yeah.
successfully in this one, because that'd be pretty neat.
Yeah. I don't like when things run off the rails. So I
Yeah,
hope that he can contain because especially when you have a big world, you can run off the rails fairly easily. So I hope that's not the case. But people are already getting giving J.J. Abrams crap, and they've just seen the trailer. So
what?
is
All I've heard was positive reactions from the latest trailer.
I have I should send them to you next time I come across it. I was shocked because that's what I thought. I thought everybody was super jazzed about the trailer. And then I go online, and then people are, first of all, they're complaining about all this stupid stuff that I'm just not even going to say because it's just stupid. Um, but people were saying, oh, this person is not doing this. It's like, how do you don't know, you literally
Yeah,
don't know
yeah.
anything.
No, yeah.
You can't even speculate on anything because there's been nothing released. Like, so it's just people just kind of like try to pull facts from anywhere to try to make their opinion valid. And then two, it's always it seems like whenever someone likes something, like I remember like Jurassic World, everybody was jazzed on that movie,
Mhm.
and then I was kind of like, am I the only person here that realized this movie was okay? Like I had fun, but definitely there were some issues.
Yeah.
And now when I read, people are like, "Oh my gosh, that's just like an overrated piece of crap," and it's like, dude, it's not Twilight, like like Jurassic World. It did entertain me.
Yeah. For me, Jurassic World was a B movie.
Yeah,
Not
ridiculous.
amazing, not
Yeah,
horrible, but fun. Fun
yeah,
movie.
like ridiculous wardrobe choices aside,
Yeah.
it was still a good movie. You
Yeah.
know. So, and the fact that I didn't care about any of the characters except for Chris Pratt, but
Yeah.
other than that, but see, that's a characterization issue, not
Yeah.
a action or pacing or timing or any of that issue. So it's kind of funny that we're talking about characterization and how Empire did it so well because I feel like a lot of movies suffer from a lack of characterization like that.
Yeah. Well, I think that's also why Chris Nolan's movies are so universally liked is because all of them are super complex, just
Yeah.
character movies at the end of the day, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's the only movie I think, only major movie I don't think I've seen is what's that one where the guy like writes stuff on him to remember Memento? I haven't seen
Mm-hmm.
Memento, but I think all the rest of them I've seen, and they're all just very very character driven movies that you really give a fuck about these people, you know.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, the people clearly like that. I just think the problem is it's a harder movie to make. Like a lot of people are just like
It is.
explosions. That's easier to do. We can write in explosions, you know. And it's
Yeah.
like, but how do you get the audience to care about a character? I mean, that's a much more complicated thing
Yeah.
to
I just feel like you
do.
have to make them relatable and make them have do things that normal people would do, and I think that's why people do relate to the characters in Empire, because they're kind of doing things that people would do in those scenarios. Just like you were saying with Luke, it's like, yeah, he know he has to finish his training, but he's just not gonna let his friends like basically take the rap for, like they're looking for him, so they're gonna torture your friends
Yeah,
till you come out. Like, most people, most decent people would be like, I'm gonna go help my friend. It's just like you were saying about Leia. It's like, everyone knows she's like has this princessy quality, but then also she's kind of rough around the edges, and she's not really a damsel in distress kind of
yeah,
girl. And so I think that's somebody that people can relate to. Now, if she was just some stuffy, stuck up princess, people would just
yeah,
be like, really?
yeah,
Like, get this chick out of here. Like, she's annoying. Like, kill her off. I think that goes a long way to helping people like the characters is how they're portrayed.
yeah. No, I definitely agree. Um, one other thing I'm curious about is, have you seen that series, the Dark Knight? It's like a cartoon movie, but it's for adults, and there's two parts to it. I think it's called The Dark Knight Returns, and it's
It,
like when Bruce Wayne is old. I got done seeing that, and that was pretty cool. It's definitely like a new Batman we're not used to seeing. You know, usually
yeah.
the trend has been like the Batman origin story has kind of been more of the
Yeah,
thing,
and
kind of in a way.
yeah, and I'm just, like, I can just say this for, like, any character that's super well known, like, Batman, Superman, Spider Man, like, I just can't I can't deal with any more origin stories. Like, I just can't.
Yeah,
Like, how many times am I gonna have to watch Bruce Wayne's parents die? How
yeah.
many times am I gonna have to watch Uncle Ben get effing murdered? How many times are we gonna know that the Kents found him? And like, we know.
Did you hear about that new fucked up story that they made in one of the new Batman comics where like he had to travel back in time and he was the one that killed his own parents and he had to do it so he could save the world because like I think like from the summary that I read about it of them talking about it, it was like he saved the Earth from an alien invasion like single-handedly. So it was kind of like he had to kill his own parents so he could become Batman, or Earth would have been fucked.
Okay, is he the Flash now? They're just ripping off their own characters.
I didn't know the Flash had to do that.
Well, he didn't have to do that, but like in every incarnation of the Flash, or most incarnations of the Flash, like the Flash, he like his mom died and he becomes the Flash. That's crucial to him becoming the Flash.
Ah,
And
is he
so
is he
it
always born with the super speed?
no, he gets an accident. He's not
Ah,
born with super speed. But his mother always died. Like his parent always died, and then that's integral to him becoming Flash.
yeah,
So it's just kind of like, and then when he went back in time to try to stop his mom from getting killed or whatever, he was already there. And he was like, "No, don't stop it," because this had to happen for him to become who he needed to be.
yeah.
So is so yeah, they're ripping off their own people.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
yeah. The last Batman story that I was into was like when they were doing like the Night of the Owls and the Death in the Family thing, where like Damian Wayne got murdered.
Hmm.
So that was in the
I'm not familiar
comics.
with that one.
Yeah, it came out
Uh,
like a year or two ago, but
huh.
that was the last time I was up on my Batmanology. So
You know what's so funny though is whenever they have um, like Batman versus Superman situation, it always ends the same. Where like Batman's like, "Oh, here's some kryptonite." It's like, why didn't you just do that in the beginning? You just got your ass beat and pull the kryptonite out first, you idiot.
Well, because I think it's a last resort. It's like, okay, I'm gonna kill
Yeah.
this dude
Well,
because
yeah.
he's getting on my nerves now.
Also, in that one I was talking about, the Dark Knight
Yeah.
Returns. What I liked is that he actually killed the Joker in it. It's like finally, fuck. Like I'm sick and tired because I that's the one my main complaint about Batman is how he's let some of these people live and they always break out and kill more people. It's like
Well,
you're just
yeah.
fucking Gotham over the
Yeah, well,
more
Batman
times
has
you let
his
him
no
off.
kill policy, and then too, also, it's kind of like if he kills the Joker, then what's he gonna do? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
Batman's not gonna have anything to do with himself. Like he's really not. That's why it's kind of funny if you've ever
yeah.
played Injustice. Have you ever played that game? And
Yes, I have.
yeah, and the storyline in that game is like Superman just does it, like Superman, because the Joker puts a bomb in like Metropolis or whatever, like Lois Lane and his kid get blew up, and then
Oh
Superman
wow.
just gets like super pissed, and just flat out kills the Joker, and it makes like a parallel universe where like Superman's basically evil, and the rest of the Justice League are like his evil henchmen, except for Batman. And Batman and Harley Quinn are like teamed up. It's very strange the storyline, but and like Lex Luthor is actually good. It's trippy, but it's kind of interesting because I feel like if Superman did go all nuclear, like in that storyline he does, it's like really though, who's gonna stop like Superman if he decides to just like, you know what, I'm tired of saving Earth, I'm just gonna destroy it now. It was really interesting just to think about that, like, yeah, so maybe Lex Luthor was right all along, like Superman needs to be like deactivated or whatever because this dude's too he's too much. That's always been my problem with Superman, he's like God mode, so
Yeah. Well,
no.
I mean, I don't know. Like the problem with that though is like he almost dies in every movie, so it's like hard for me to always be like Superman's name because he's invincible. It's like, well, he almost dies in every movie, so that kind of
Yeah,
ruins that point.
if you win all the time, there's no stakes. Like Batman,
Yeah.
I think is more interesting because he doesn't have powers.
Yeah.
So if somebody comes along that's stronger than him, or smarter than him, or more skilled than him, Batman might have to, it's
Yeah.
sometimes Batman barely wins sometimes, and so that's way more interesting than someone who's like on God mode 24/7.
That kind of reminds me of a point someone made one time where they were talking about Anakin and Darth Vader and like their
Mhm.
combat styles and stuff. And
Mhm.
how somebody kind of made a point where they're like, the fact that Darth Vader, like Anakin got crippled to become Darth Vader, kind of made him a more efficient fighter than he normally would have been.
Yeah,
Because like Anakin is just like go ham with my natural ability, and Darth Vader, you can kind of see with the whole him versus Luke thing, he's
he's
so
more
much more
methodical.
relaxed. Yeah, and he's just like you do kind of see it like toward the end where like Luke gets a lucky shot toward
Yeah,
like
he
his
starts getting
shoulder.
annoyed with Luke like after a while, like because he's just
Yeah,
toying with him at first, and
yeah,
then like Luke started getting some lucky shots, and he's like, "Okay, kid, like I'm done,
yeah. But
playing with
I
you
kind of
now."
get that point because it's like you definitely see like I do like the prequels for that is you kind of do appreciate how it kind of ties together when you
Yeah,
watch Empire. It's like, oh, Luke, yeah, Luke is kind of a crappy Jedi, not his fault. Uh,
yeah,
Darth Vader, Darth Vader has chilled out a lot more and is definitely a much more
yeah,
effective
more
fighter.
mellow.
Um,
Well, that's because he don't have all that teen angst anymore. His hormones settled
yeah.
down.
You know something I noticed too is
Mhm.
that I don't know because the version I saw was the I think the digital version
Mhm.
where they did even more edits to it. And
Yeah.
one detail that I liked is when that guy walks in on Darth Vader where he has the
Oh, you
helmet
helmet
off.
off. Yeah.
What I liked is when they put the helmet on, it made this like
Noise.
noise, and it's the exact same noise from
Yeah.
when it was first put on in Revenge of the Sith. It's like I don't know if that was edited into this like new digital release or if
Mm-hmm.
that's always been in there. But either way, I like it.
Yeah,
I like the consistency there to detail.
yeah, that was cool. I like that. The changes don't really bother me. The only thing that I don't like, the only change that I just can't deal with, can't handle, is the Han thing. Like in New Hope, Han should have just
Oh.
shot him straight up, murdered Greedo. I don't care what anybody says. Like Greedo got straight up murdered and it was baller. Like that does not change my. Actually, it does change my opinion of Han because it makes him even more badass because he just straight up did that in the middle of a crowded bar. Like, yeah, I did that.
Yeah. Would have
He,
been very James Bond esque.
well, I mean, hey, that's
I,
what he's supposed to be, like the lovable rogue.
I,
So
I, I
it
could
fits.
see Harrison Ford play a decent James Bond when he was younger.
Yeah, if he was British.
I wouldn't be surprised if they like approached him for something
Nah,
like that.
he not British.
Hey, they approached Adam West to be James Bond at one point,
What?
but he couldn't do it because he was like under someone else's contract, where he couldn't like
Oh
work
my.
on another movie.
Oh my gosh, that would have been terrible.
No, Adam West is awesome.
He on Family Guy, but I don't buy him as James Bond. Like you have to have
I
a
mean, we don't
certain.
know.
No, when I think Adam West, I don't think sophistication. I think Batman and Family Guy. So
You
like
gotta admit though, the 1960s Batman is fucking
I
hilarious.
love that Batman. I love it. It's deliciously campy and cheesy and awful, and I love every minute of it. Like I love everything about it. That
I
they
just
can't
love
do no wrong.
this one scene I saw recently where he's at this bar and he's in this Batman getup and everybody's just in normal clothes, and then he starts dancing with people. Like, oh my god, this is the cheesiest thing ever. I love it.
That's what I mean. It's so bad it's good. It's like on Sharknado levels. Like this is so terrible, but it's awesome. Like so no. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I love it. I love
Oh,
I guess I like a certain amount of cheesy camp stupidity, but it has to be where it's so over the top where it's just like no one's taking it seriously.
yeah.
So you can't. It's kind of like Xena. Like I love Xena.
I never watched that, but I know what you're talking about.
It's funny because when I was a kid, I was super into Xena, and I remember like on Saturday because he used to come on Saturdays. Like Hercules would come on, then Xena, and we would be super into it, right? And I never realized how bootleg it was because that was the beginning of using like CGI and graphics and stuff like that. And I watched it fairly recently, and I was like, "What? What? How did I think this was good?" I still love it though. Like,
90s, man. The
yeah, I
90s.
I still love it. Like, I still love the characters. I still love it, but it definitely took like it just went up a level in like the cheese factor that I was oblivious to when I was a kid.
Oh,
Yeah.
that reminds me of this one show I recently found on YouTube that I watched when I was a kid called Big Wolf on Campus, and it was
Mm-hmm.
basically a it's I don't want to say it's a parody, but it's like a super cheesy version of uh
Teen Wolf.
what was that movie called? The Michael J. Fox movie where he's a
Teen
werewolf.
Wolf.
That's Teen Wolf. Yeah, he. It's like a cheesy version of that, and I did not pick up on that whatsoever when I was a kid, and now I just laugh my ass off. It's so
Yeah.
funny because it doesn't take like they legitimately made it shitty on purpose, and that's what's funny about it is it's
Yeah.
like self-aware of its shittiness.
Yeah, see, that's what I love. I love things that are self aware that they're awful. And
Yeah.
so, yeah.
This thing is like they had fun with it. Like you can tell like they had
Yeah.
fun with that, so it doesn't like actually be shitty, you know?
Yeah. That's kind
That
of like
what
Xena, though. Like,
what
they're definitely aware of what's going on. And it's just. I love that show. It's so good.
Did you ever see the Beastmaster?
Yes.
Was that any good? I was too young to like watch that
Dude.
show consistently. It looked really cheesy.
It is. Oh my. Wow. That is so throwback. Beastmaster. Yeah. I actually watched Conan recently, and it was the first time I watched it in a while.
The Arnold Schwarzenegger one?
Yes,
Huh.
and
Is it
I
any
was.
good?
To me, it is. But see, that's why I said like I'm not a good judge because I love terrible movies. So, and Conan is not terrible though. Conan is just it's bad because everything just took a step up. So when you see movies that were made like with early '80s graphics and
Yeah.
plots and design and characters and everything, you're just like rolling your eyes. But it's Arnold being Arnold, and that's just and his accent was even more terrible. So that
Back
that
then.
yeah, that just makes everything even better because I almost can't understand him.
Is
So
he even supposed to be like some sort of ethnic, or is he just like,
he's like
is he just,
super
he's a barbarian, that's it?
tan. He's yeah, he has no ethnicity. He's just like a barbarian. And mind you, his mother and they're barbarians, and she has like blonde hair. She's like a total fox. He's like this buff Austrian barbarian, I guess, and he's fighting freaking James Earl Jones.
I didn't know he was in that movie.
Yeah, and that made me laugh even harder because it just sounds like Darth Vader. So that was just even funnier. I was just like, oh my goodness, this movie is just killing me. And then him and the chick, like the way people come in and out. You talking about characterization.
Mm-hmm.
So he meets the chick, and then 5 minutes later, it's like, "Oh, I love you." Like I'm telling you, like that movie would not fly now. Like people would just flame this movie hardcore. Like what is this? But I still love it. I don't know if it's just because that
I kind of want
80s
to watch it
nostalgia.
now.
Yo, you should
Because
watch
I think
it.
it's on Netflix.
It is on Netflix. It's
Oh,
it's
nice.
it's terrible. So
I I actually like Arnold Schwarzenegger's movies.
I do too, but that's what I mean. That's what I love about
Like,
like I don't want him to ever change. Oh, it's funny. I heard or I was reading somewhere that he started to lose his accent, but he keeps it because it's recognizable as his. That's his trademark.
yeah.
Have you ever heard of this band called Austrian Death Machine?
No, but that sounds amazing.
It is because it is like this kind of metal type band
Hmm.
that's solely dedicated to Arnold Schwarzenegger. And so like all their songs are like about his movies,
Hmm.
and the guy sounds just like him. Like the guy that's the singer sings like he sounds like Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's so oh gosh, it's so funny. It's so good. I have like two of their three of their albums. So
That sounds
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, but like some of the songs is like I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle. The
What?
the line from Terminator 2,
Oh.
allow me to break the ice is like his line from Batman and Robin. Like I love Arnold Schwarzenegger, so I love saying his lines because they're so oh gosh, especially in that movie. You talking about quotable
Yeah.
like Arnold Schwarzenegger gold.
He's actually really good at comedy too. Like,
I think I choose to believe that Batman and Robin was a comedy
honestly, it kind of was.
because gosh, Arnold makes that movie like so funny. Like he was just so it's just like the cheese factor was unreal, but Arnold had like all these one-liners. Just his whole script was just one-liners that had to do with like cold and ice and freezing stuff.
Yeah.
So I really
You know
like that movie.
what movie? Have you seen Tombstone?
Oh my gosh, that is in my top 5 of all time.
Really? That movie was recommended to me, and I watched like the first 30 minutes of it and stopped because I was just so bored.
Oh my gosh, you got to get to the good part. Like that movie is so quotable. Like oh my gosh, so funny. Like I love that movie. I feel like see like I have a weird sense of humor. So like that movie is not intended to be a comedy, but that's like one of my
Yeah.
favorite comedies. Like I love that movie.
Tombstone?
Yeah, I every time I watch that movie, I laugh. I laugh so hard. Even the first beginning when they're at the wedding, when the wedding's going on, they just walk up and just shoot the dude, like shoot the they shoot
Yeah.
all the guests and then they shoot the priest. Like I was oh
Yeah, that's pretty
gosh.
fucked up.
and it was hilarious. See, I don't know what's wrong with me, but that movie, I love it. Is you talking about one liners abound? Like that movie, so good. Yeah, you definitely have to watch it. Try to watch it again.
What's funny is like Sam Elliott doesn't look any younger than he does now. Or I guess I should say that Sam Elliott hasn't aged very much.
Some people don't. Like some people, they just still look the same. Did you see that theory? I didn't even read it because it was just trash. It reminds me of these people that come up with the Game of Thrones theories that are so stupid that they don't even. They're
Yeah.
just not even logical. Like I heard one that was saying that Ned is a faceless man, and it's like, dude, he got his head chopped off. He's dead.
Huh.
Okay, he's
That would
dead.
be a mind fuck though if that were true. Like if that actually happened, everybody would be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. But then it was kind of like, but then someone, because people were saying, you don't know, it can happen. And then someone's like, dude, when did he have time to go train to be a faceless man? Like,
Yeah.
never
He was
in his.
he's kind of always been the
Yeah.
uh Warden of the North.
Yeah.
So
So it
I
was like,
mean,
when did he have time to go do this faceless man training? Yeah. No.
yeah.
And before that, he was fighting a rebellion. So, yeah,
Yeah.
just didn't have time. So it's kind of like that, but it's saying that Jar Jar Binks was a trained Sith Lord.
That's so dumb.
Yeah, it was saying. Hold on, I'll see if I can find it. But it was basically something along the lines of he was trained. He was a trained Sith, and he purposefully brought down the Jedi. Like all his dumb actions were deliberate. So I was just like, people are just so bored.
What do you think about the theory that Lucas actually did turn evil?
I don't
If
think.
you'd even heard of it.
Well, I heard people saying that he was Kylo Ren, and I'm like, no, he's not.
No,
So
that's dumb.
people were saying after the trailer, and I'm like, first of all, no, Adam Driver is playing Kylo Ren. Like that's just pretty much known. And then two, there's a shot in the trailer where he has his helmet off, and you see all his black hair. So like,
Yeah.
unless Luke went and just got some luscious black hair from somewhere, that's totally not him.
And there is a picture of Luke in the movie. Not like a scene in the movie, but like a picture of him in costume
Yeah, I've
in the
seen him
movie.
in costume, and he's sporting like the beard and everything.
Yeah,
So yeah,
Jedi beard.
I don't know why they're getting that from. Okay, so this is the theory. It says that Jar Jar is a trained Force user, knowing Sith collaborator, that he is skilled warrior, mastering different forms of like fighting, and he is so strong with the Force that he is able to manipulate the entire Senate to give up democracy in favor of the Galactic Empire.
When did he do that though? The only time you see him like get really involved is in Attack of the Clones, so he's trying to convince them to use the clone
Well, because
army.
the way they're justifying it is because there's a scene in Revenge of the Sith where Palpatine is Jar Jar's in his council. And
Yeah.
so they're saying, like, why would Jar Jar, if he's so good and innocent, why would he be hanging around Palpatine? But it's
Well,
like,
everybody was. He's the Supreme Chancellor.
yeah, and at that
Why
time,
the fuck
nobody
wouldn't he?
knew exactly. And no one even knew that Palpatine was a Sith Lord at that point. And I feel like that's a problem when people watch movies or watch stories. Because you have audience, what is the word? You basically see all because you're the audience. But you forget the characters aren't seeing what you're seeing.
Yeah.
So of course you know Palpatine is evil, but everyone else doesn't know that. They don't have the hindsight that you have because you're watching the whole thing unfold. So I feel like they're taking a lot of that stuff that they see as the audience for granted when they're talking about what would be actually possible if, from that perspective of Jar Jar. I can't believe I just said that in a sentence. But Jar Jar in perspective. But oh, and someone said the reason why they never came about, like showed it that he was a Force user is because all the people hated Jar Jar, so they just turned it down.
What?
I think people just smoke and then come up with these things.
Hey man, I just wrote this expert piece,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Shit.
Dude, what do you think about this? what if Jar Jar? Like it's so, it sounds like a stoner moment. They talking about he is Supreme Leader Snoke. Yeah, there's a whole thing, just type in Jar Jar Star Wars theory and it's like the first hit.
In general, I kind of like fan theories though, even if they're like obviously false, just because I think it's fun to think about. But that one is pretty bad.
Yeah, I
As
mean,
far as
I like fan theories if they're
thought out.
plausible and thought out and well rationed. So I don't even know how they got to that theory. I was just like,
Yeah.
wow, all right, you're a special kind of stupid. So
That's always a fucked up like insult to give to somebody, because it's you're not only stupid, but you're like a rare type of stupid that only gets
yeah,
experienced once in a while.
once in a lifetime. You're like the blue moon of stupidity. So I don't know. It's just ugh.
That kind of reminds me of a joke in I was I used to work at this Lowe's, and they were looking at like the employee roster, and there's this one person that had the last name Dipster. This one lady was like, "Man, if he went to my school, we would have called him Dipstick or something like that." And it's just like saying all this shit that would have made fun of him. And my friend just goes, "I would have called him Shithead."
Did you
It was
laugh?
so perfect. Oh, I laughed my ass off. It was perfect.
Yeah, I would have laughed at
I would have
that.
called him Shithead.
That's too funny. I would have just laughed at that. See, that's why I can't.
So, thanks for listening. Fuck faces.
Thank you for listening. I'm all nice.
That gets me every time when I'm so mean and you sound so nice.
I
Are we
know.
playing good cop, bad cop on
Yeah,
the audience right now?
yeah. But I am the good cop. I think.
That is true.
Yeah.
So, well, you have to be because you're black. No, I'm just kidding. That's horrible.
Right. I know. I better be the good cop. Well, yeah.
So
Technically,
yeah.
you do have to be the bad cop. Yeah. So yeah. Thanks for listening. We gotta be nice to our audience.
Maybe I'll consider it.
We want them to come back. All two of you. So.
Oh yeah, exactly. We don't want to half our audience just from one comment.
Right. I know. So yeah. Don't listen to Drew.
Listen to me all the time. Anyways, good night, and yeah, eat the candy that's been open for Halloween. That's my advice.
Oh my gosh. Ooh, don't even get me started on that. We should have talked about that, but oh my god.
We can do that next time.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next time. Because, ooh. That wasn't even true. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
So thanks for listening. Bye.